bigger fall-offs occasionally.
Yep.
But this is going to be a fun one. We were talking about the match history before we kind of went on air and how uThermal and Nerchio have played 3 times in 2018. And uThermal's actually won all of those. He's sitting at something like 8-2 in map score versus Nerchio right now.
Yeah, I think it was a 3-0, 2-0, and a 3-2 victory.
Yeah.
Those were the only encounters they had in 2018 where I truly feel that uThermal has taken his game to the next level. Now, of course, he was great in 2016 as well, but I felt 2017 was it was almost like a random year for uThermal. He was never bad, and I don't think there are a lot of people in the European scene that are excited when they see they have to go up against uThermal, but he didn't always show it. Let's see if the runner-up of WCS Challenger of the previous season can once again advance to the quarterfinals, as he's spawning on the bottom side of Dreamcatcher, hailing from the Netherlands, playing from the Netherlands as well. It is uThermal. And I say playing from the Netherlands because I know that he was very recently in Mexico, so I thought he may have still been there, but apparently he just got back home a couple days ago.
Yeah, I finally got fed up with just speculating on whether or not he goes to Mexico, and I asked him like in the lobby, like, hey, where are you, Mark? Spawning up here in the top left, maybe concerned about some of those proxy memes lately. We got our Red Zerg player, Nerchio. Going for that early, not super early pool, but he's going for a pool first.
Yep. That's obviously going to make his life a little bit easier if he would indeed go up against a 2-Rex or a 3-Rex build. But this is the thing that Zerg players face. Every single time they would do this, that's when the Terrans don't do it. Now, there is still a chance that this plays out well, because obviously Nerchio can make a couple Zerglings. He could perhaps sneak them to the other side of the map. uThermal is not SCV scouting, and if he decides to not SCV scout at all, is he going to keep the Reaper at home? If uThermal builds that Reaper, and he just sends it to the other side of the map, but the links can avoid it, then there is a chance that those links can start becoming very frustrating to deal with, and maybe pick off a couple SCVs and delay that command center.
Yeah, so far we've seen uThermal with pretty good control with that Reaper, and being able to, I guess, keep it alive is very important, but also even keeping, I think, the SCV alive that's building the command center, just kind of making sure that things don't get too delayed. But whoa, hold on, this is 6-lings. Okay, 6-lings. You're looking to try and get good damage on, but you're really looking for an SCV kill if you can find it. That's really what I think Nerchio is going to at least be happy with. If you just delay the command center by a little bit, I don't know if Zerg players are often all that happy, right?
You can see, I was about to say, is Nerchio going to review his links? Nah, he's not. No. He sent them to the north side here, so he's taking that mine. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful timing. He just went north, and rather than going through the side blocker, he went on the north side. He's going to show up. The Reaper is all the way on the other side of the map.
Oh!
An immediate cancel even.
But the reactor is going to get target fire down. Remember, there's no units coming out here for uThermal, so the Reaper is going to have to try and make its way back home, and I love the re-walling in here from uThermal. It's going to buy a bit more time.
Though.
Is it enough? Oh, okay, SCV gets to the correct side, is going to be a little bit safer for a while. The Reaper is almost here, but the Lings are going to be able to get in.
Damn, what a start for Nerchio. He gets 3 SCVs, he gets the cancel in the command center.
Well, it's not over yet.
One more, that's number 4.
Oh my god, he might get 5. He's going to get an SCV that was building the command center. No, it doesn't end up falling.
What a start.
Wow, Nerchio could not have asked for a better start.
No, that's kind of a dream scenario. He did that so quickly. For a split second, I was like, is he going to show the links here? No, he was not. He just went north here. Whoop, he swung around. The Reaper just barely missed it. And by the time that the link showed up right here in the natural, guess where uThermal's Reaper was? Over here. The worst possible place on the map for that Reaper to be. There was no Marine to buy time either. All right, Robbie, we've got a game on our hands because, yes, uThermal may have had the better of Nerchio lately. This is a dream start for Nerchio.
Yeah. Well, the Reaper finally is going to get some scouting information. It confirms the third base, moves to the natural, sees a full mineral line, which is at least going to say, okay, I don't have to worry about a major all-in, at least not just yet, if Nerchio decides to cut some workers or something later on. Pops into the main base,
Reaper
but yeah, there's no getting out of this one.
Reaper is down and out. No.
He tries to regenerate some hit points. He is going to be able to get out of here for a little bit, but the Queens are doing a great job blocking him off. Okay, for a moment I was like, larva injected. Are you going to give up on the Reaper?
No, it's surprised that he decided to sacrifice the Reaper there. I think he could have kept it alive a little bit longer, but maybe he felt like, that Reaper failed me anyway early on. Didn't get done what I was hoping for.
Go punish it.
So we're gonna have a medevac opening with 2 cyclones here. Yesterday we saw this build, at least some variation of it, where it was like 5-6 Hellions that just drive somewhere into the natural. Meanwhile, there is a medevac drop into the main base. Seoul actually did something similar to this against Showtime. Obviously different matchup, but I think the idea might be the same.
Yeah, I've seen these kind of Terran players do these builds where they move into the third base with those Cyclones and some Hellions and maybe a handful of Marines. But I love that uThermal splits up the Hellions from the Cyclones, just goes with the Cyclones to the main base with the medevac. You can take out some of the Queens. The Cyclones do really well versus the Queens, but you have to keep the medevac alive.
That's a lot of damage. I actually think that medevac is not going to be alive, so that means that these Cyclones will go down. Of course, they do get a couple of drones, and we've got the Hellions on the right side, but that's so... This is a disaster for uThermal, in my opinion.
Oh, this is going really poorly. Oh, the Hellions are going to be able to get into the mineral line, but not really getting that much damage done either.
Nothing at all. I mean, 5 drones. There are some scenarios where you're like, 5 drones for a Banshee that gets out. That's really solid. 5 drones for Hellions that stay alive or just had no function anymore. You can say that's good. But 5 drones for 2 Cyclones, a medevac, and then 3 Hellions getting picked off as well. Absolute disastrous game so far for uThermal. Okay, this is nice though.
Yeah, I think the Lings, he does realize he can actually send those Lings in along the right-hand side of that wall and ends up, getting a little bit of damage done there. We also have the Liberator killing off a few workers, but pretty quick reaction for Nerchio. Only loses 2 and forces back that Liberator.
Yeah, I guess Nerchio wasn't paying attention to his Zerglings because he was focused on dealing with this Liberator, so that is the excuse that we're going to give him. That's a little bit silly. It's still very good for Nerchio, don't get me wrong, this doesn't change anything. Losing those Lings doesn't hurt that much in this phase in the game. But it could have even been a lot better, because those Lings could have potentially had a lot more value than they actually had. I
mean, if those Lings went around to the right-hand side and you got to surround on those Hellions, I actually don't know what uThermal does to clean those up later on.
I think he would tap out. Yeah. Then he's going to end up losing 6, 7 more SCVs, and then he's probably going to be like, all right, that's it with this game.
Yeah, but like you said, Nerchio's already in position where it seems like he's just maintaining a lead, and if he just maintains the lead longer and longer and then takes one good engagement, uThermal's going to be in a lot of trouble. But Nerchio taking that 4th base, he's getting up his double Evo chambers to get up some upgrades. Going to be a bit further behind in those, but not the hugest deal for a Zerg player. See massive lines coming from that Queen? Or is this just my...
This is actually kind of nice, because the Queens were a little bit out of position. So now these Hellions are going to get a couple of very good shots off on drones, and meanwhile the Liberator in the natural got some damage done as well. So finally uThermal strikes back, and this actually is very unnecessary, because this was a moment where Nerchio really didn't have to take any damage at all. What were you talking about with the Queens?
Do you want? I almost want to like just ask production to show my screen, but I don't think we should. Never mind.
Okay.
I think I have some graphical glitch on my screen. It's gone now. So.
Okay. So that was really silly though, because Nerchio had all the Queens in the world. He had the Hydra Den already done, I believe, right? Yes, Hydra Den is done. I mean, of course you can say like maybe he loses 3-4 drones, right? Maybe he loses 1 or 2 before he pulls the drones away against the Liberator. Maybe he loses 1 or 2 against the Hellions, but yeah, that was simply way too much. Now he did replace those drones very quickly, so he's back where he was. 70 workers, obviously a very good position, but that was the first real damage that uThermal did this game.
All right, Armory on the way, getting ready to go straight into the 2-2 upgrades soon after this. Nerchio was able to get up back to 70 workers, but is he going to have the units to defend against continued aggression? The double medevac drop makes its way along the left-hand side of the map and is going to be timing out fairly well with 1-1 finishing up at the same time.
There is a Spore Crawler in the main, so that's going to be annoying. Lings are already heading towards the right position as well. There's a Queen, and you don't want to fly into that Spore, so he's going to try to block on the low ground, but nope.
Yep. Good reaction time from uThermal, but he doesn't get anything done, which does kind of sting. Gold base is also going up in the top right-hand side. And this is what I really like for a lot of Zerg players. It seems kind of weird where it's like, oh, you're taking bases on opposite sides of the map. It's going to be really hard to defend, but Terran players also kind of have to commit to go kill one of those unless you just kind of get lucky with a drop.
I mean, Nerchio's map vision is excellent at this point. His Overlord spread is perfect. He's got very good creep spread going for himself. This is all the result of that early game that went absolutely disastrous for uThermal, and yes, he got some damage done later on, but early games are just simply a lot more important because you have very little to work with. Now uThermal is going to start pushing this creep back a tiny bit, but we can already see Nerchio trying to replace that creep as quickly as possible. uThermal is accidentally going to find this base on the right top side. He has no idea that it's there. At this point he does know, and he's like, whoa, okay, I see how it is.
Yeah, might even just drop some of those Marines out, get some chip damage done. Has to be careful of the Hydras, though. The Hydras get on top of the medevac, and that's going to be some downed Marines, unable to escape out of there alive for a while now. And uThermal's getting up a lot of his own bases, but this is kind of the catch with Dreamcatcher, is once you get up that 4th base, you kind of get split up from multiple different angles in where you can get attacked from, especially sieging up the siege tanks can be a really difficult question of like, where do you really do it? Where do you have your defenses positioned?
So uThermal wants to push at this gold base, but at the same time that means that a lot of his units are out of position. We can see his forces marching towards the right top side, but like you said, those tanks were not in the right place. He doesn't lose that much, and in the end this is going to be an easy pick-off on the right top side. So maybe you can say job well done there by uThermal. He didn't stop making aggression towards his base, but this almost feels like it was just an opportunity for Nerchio, right? It's like, let me take that base. It's a 300 mineral investment. If I can get away with it, if I can mine off it, great. If not, most of the time when you want to kill it, that should give me some opening somewhere else on the map. That didn't really work out, but it's one of those things that Nerchio was able to try because he had a really good start in this game.
Yeah, you wouldn't call it so much a setback for Nerchio, but it was kind of an important thing for uThermal to do, to kind of swat that and say, no, you're not allowed to take that gold. That's a little too greedy for you, even given this kind of a game so far.
uThermal scanned.
Ultra Cavern on the way. He sees the hive with that scan, and we're going to see Nerchio probably, as he is getting up a lot more units, he might want to start trading out some of these units to make some space for that hive tech, the ultras, and maybe just kind of soften up the defenses of uThermal in a bit.
Only a single barracks has a tech lab on it. There is not one marauder out at this point. It's pure marine tank medevac, nothing else.
Oh my god, this is actually such perfect timing here from Nerchio. Right as the army is all moving out, he catches his fourth base, cancels the planetary fortress, and the Lings and Banelings are also not getting that bad of a trade. The Banelings toward the end do get picked off very quickly, but he finds a couple of those Marines and gets Lings into the natural.
I love that, because those Lings into the natural pulled the army back. I thought Nerchio was going to go for it for a split second over here on the right side, where I really think he could have got some damage done, but maybe the sensor tower is what scared him. He's like, whoa, you know? He knows?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's like the sensor tower, and also he didn't see the full army in the natural with those Lings, so he's like, okay, hold on, are you still moving out, and just let some Marines back? But, oh my god, Nerchio is buying himself so much time for those Ultras. Chitinous plating is on the way, 3 Ultras being made, and these Lings are buying absurd amounts of time.
And this time it seems like he does want to try his luck over here on the right side. He adopts one of those tanks, uses the Banelings to blow up those depots as well. One of them was a double depot even. I mean, Nerchio is, oh my goodness, he's running circles around uThermal at this point. Once again, guys, important to mention, disclaimer, Nerchio had a dream start in this game. So yes, he was pretty much always going to find himself in a good position. But I must say, the way he's capitalizing on his good position is absolute beauty to watch.
I 100% agree, but the way that Nerchio is playing is, I feel like even if this was an evened up game, this would still look to be some really good harassment, some really good multi-pronged aggression. Siege tanks all siege up, but Nerchio pulls back at the perfect moment there. He still has an active creep tumor that spots out a bunch of those tanks sieging up. He sees them unsiege. He's going to move forward with the Ultras at the right moment. Blinding clouds coming down on those tanks as well. And Nerchio, if he doesn't clean up this army, he's already done enough damage to hamper the attack.
Doing pretty damn good. I mean, 4 or 5 tanks got picked off there. It would have been nice to have a couple Banelings in the mix, because it's pure marine once again, and it would be so scary for uThermal to deal with it. I mean, that was still good enough for Nerchio, because he's economically ahead and quite a bit as well. He is mining up that 5th base. It always scares me when this is like the latest expansion. Why are you leeching off this one?
That bugs me so much. Make an extractor, make an evolution chamber. And then inevitably, that is always the base that the Terran player ends up dropping. And you're like, well, I'm down to 25% of my hit points because I kept killing my own hatchery.
Now, there is an army on the right top side of uThermal, but once again, a couple of tanks are going to get abducted here. That is 3 tanks just like that. That won't get much done. The orbital gets picked off as well. I mean, Nerchio is just running away with this game. If he cleans up this drop, well, that's going to be hard without Hydras. I guess Marines are in a good position, but these Lings are some really feisty Lings. They've got +2 armor already. I think that's going to be LC Road for game number 1 here on Dreamcatcher. I have a hard time imagining.
Drop on the left is trying to get some damage on, and there's that low health hatchery going down. But like you said, Roddy, or what we were saying, is that this is still very much Nerchio's game to lose.
Yeah, one of the medevacs is going to get picked off. uThermal finds another hatch. I think he really wants to get it, and he does get it, and he gets out of it with a couple of Marines as well. So this is somewhat nice, but it really still doesn't seem like a fair fight. Nerchio has so much more, still maxed out, The swarm is coming, and obviously uThermal knows. Look at that creep spread of Nerchio. This is not something that I feel like we really compliment him on very often. And once again, all of these Zergs are so damn good in making creep spread these days, and everybody has 3 or 4 active queens, so you can expect it. But a player like uThermal is also very active in denying it. So the fact that Nerchio has the vision that he has, it's kind of insane. He sees everything.
Yeah, and he sees every single time those units tried to move out, which is what allowed a lot of those big counterattack perfect timings, those swarming in with the Ultras and the Lings and the Banelings right when the Siege tanks unsiege. I mean, it's all because of his vision. But now we have some ghosts coming out. This is kind of the Hail Mary play for uThermal, saying, okay, if I take care of the Ultras, if I get some EMPs off maybe on the Vipers or something, maybe I can still make a miracle happen. But this base is once again gonna get denied completely. Baneling's going off on that mineral line. Marine's on a retreat. And the Ultras, I think they are going to be able to do enough here.
Yeah, that was a beautiful blinding cloud as well. But in the end, it really felt like it didn't matter that much. Nerchio simply has way too much. And I must say, uThermal is truly fighting till the bitter end. It's something that he hasn't always done. But now he knows as well. After losing that second orbital, it's simply too much. GG. Nerchio takes game number 1 off the back, obviously, of a very, very, very good start. Like a dream start, best case scenario. But still impressive play after that.
Yeah, really, really well played with that opening. Going back to anyone who tuned in on the later side of that game, Nerchio going for a 15 or 16 pool opening, sends 6 Lings around the map, dodges out of the way of the Reaper with an Overlord scouting out that Reaper, moving at the absolute last moment, making it into the natural at the perfect time, forcing a cancel, and then killing off a reactor, and then making his way into the main base, killing off 4 workers total. Yeah. It was, like you said, the dream start there for Nerchio. We cannot expect something like that to happen again in game 2, but all of that is just built off of that opening, and StarCraft is a game of exponential growth.
Yep, that goes once again to show where sometimes an SCV scout may very well be worth it. If you do not want to keep your Reaper at home, if you do want to grab your first Reaper and send it to the other side of the map, then at least check if it's a hedge first or not. And now obviously, I wonder what happens in game number 2. Is uThermal going to be like, he probably won't do that again, so if he does go hedge first, maybe I should 2 racks, 3 racks. Yeah,
you know, I wouldn't hate it. But also, this next map is Redshift, and I feel like we're getting some of the funkier maps today, which is I'm loving. But Redshift definitely has its own meta. You talked about how you feel like the gold base is a trap for Zerg players.
No.
Do you feel like it's a trap for every race?
For every race.
Every race.
You don't take that base. It's not a base. You see those minerals, but it's not a base, Ravi.
Okay.
You don't take it. You literally take the 6th base above the right bottom side, or that would be your 5th. And then you take your 6th, like on the right top side of your main, if you spawn in the bottom. And then maybe as your 7th base, you can take the gold.
Okay.
But not before 7.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. Rotterdam says, not before your 7th base. But Redshift's still going to be a good map, I think, for things like the bunker aggression. We've definitely seen some pretty successful 3-Rax Reapers on this map. Or, not 3-Rax Reaper, 3 Rax Marine bunker rushing on this map.
Yeah. 3-Rax Reaper would be a blast from the past, as they would say. I mean, in his glory days, uThermal made a fair share of Reapers.
I was talking about this with Jeff, and that uThermal has, in at least some online tournaments, every so often, I think like maybe a month ago, I saw him going for a 3-Rax Reaper, and it still worked out because he's still so good at it, but it is very much about the surprise factor. Zerg players have mostly figured out how to handle it if they see it coming. And
on what map would you even do that these days, right? I mean, like, obviously Acid Plant is terrible for it. Catalyst, maybe, I mean, it has 1 ledge, but
I'm trying to think of like Lost and Found, how the ledge is there.
No, I mean, you can come. Maybe Lost and Found is one of the better maps because yes, you can come in from the side, at least better than Acid Plant. Which is an absolute doom map for Reapers in general. Alrighty, guys, here we go. This man, Mr. Consistency, is trying to break the losing streak that he has against the Dutch Terran. He's spotting on the left top side of Redshift. He is an official Red Bull athlete. It is Nerchio.
And the colors are so appropriate for this match. We got the Red Bull in red, and down here in the bottom left, we have in that Team Liquid blue, Team Liquid's uThermal.
Ooh.
Okay, got a gas first opening so far, going into that spawning pool. What are you feeling right now, Roddy?
I don't No, it's a tough one to predict. It could be nothing. But this is obviously hurting his economy quite a bit, so there is a chance that he makes a whole bunch of links. There's a chance it's going to be Link Bane. Maybe he does something very weird with Queens as well, or he goes for a very quick Roach Warren, or it's nothing. This is very hard to call at this point. But this is obviously a bigger investment than what Nerchio did in the previous game. If you guys wonder why, like, the extractor isn't that expensive. It's only 25 minerals. It's a drone that obviously is not mining anymore, but at this point, in this phase in the game, you're basically sacrificing 4 drones that could be mining minerals that are now mining gas already. And that makes this build a much bigger investment than what we saw previously. So it's just going to be 100 gas for now, very quick speed. And we'll keep an eye on Nerchio and the amount of units he decides to produce.
uThermal not going to be going for any of those early SCV scouts. He does go for the high ground command center, though. So this is going to be his adjustment. He says, I don't want to sacrifice that early economy for the scouting worker. So instead, going to go for command center. And he actually adds on a second barracks as well. So this is going to go into a 2-on-1, something similar to what we saw from Clem on this map as well.
So he might make a similar push as well, right? With the tanks over here, uThermal loves those kind of pushes. Those are obviously designed for him. The Reaper is once again marching to the other side of the map immediately. So it seems that uThermal thinks that building the CC on the low ground or high ground is a better investment than SCV scouting. He's just early on, he's like, nope, I need every single SCV to be mining those minerals. I don't want SCV scout. Now, obviously, uThermal's not crazy. He wasn't born last night. He knows that this hatch was supposed to be done already. The fact that it wasn't done yet is gonna make him wonder a little bit. Like, he doesn't have to see the extractor to know that something weird, something funky is happening.
Okay, reactor getting worked away on. The Marine should be out soon, so he just has to repair up that reactor a little bit longer. I guess the real question is he going to know that this was a gas before pool?
Well, he's about to, I want to say,
maybe move into the main base. You have to click on that extractor for those who are wondering. If you click on the extractor, you can see how much gas is mined, and you might have a good indication like, okay, yep, clicks on the extractor, saw the little hover, the little blue highlight over it. So he knows how much gas has been mined, and he should know at this point how fast that gas was.
And that's important as well, because obviously he sees Zergling speed, so he knew there was Zergling speed anyway, but it's nice to know how much gas has been mined, because what if he just stopped mining gas right before you hopped into the main base? But he actually has enough gas to throw down a bailing nest very early on, and potentially go for a weird, odd bailing boss timing.
Well, 100 gas now mined there for Nerchio. What is he going to be doing with it? Is he going to go straight to a really quick lair? Is he looking for fast upgrade? He did get his 3rd base up,
I think,
but
on this map,
there's the bailing nest. Okay.
What if he makes it tier 1? I don't know. I know that Nerchio is not crazy, and I think he's expecting a very similar build out of uThermal as what Clem tried to do against him earlier today. Now, that game, Nerchio opened up differently, which allowed him to have way more queens out. At this point, he only has 3 queens. Yes, he is building 2 more additional queens, so that's going to bring up the count to 5. But he's going to have a lot less energy on those queens, as well opposed to the opening that he went before, which was the hatch first and just pumping out queens non-stop.
Yeah, the bailing nest for defense against a lot of the early aggression, it can work really well, but sometimes you are sort of relying on your opponent not quite being super in position or super prepared with those Marines to focus fire down bailings. You're hoping to try and catch them before they unload, and on a map like Redshift, I think there are a lot of places where a Terran player can find a nice place for those medevacs to unload their payload of those Marines, to get into a good position, to micro back and snipe off banelings.
Yep, well, 18 links are on the way. More additional queens are being built. Once again, Nerchio is going to spot these medevacs very quickly because he has a couple of Zerglings that are taking care of this Naga watchtower.
He's just going to ignore it. Yeah. He says, time is money, friend, and he's going to go straight over to the main base, maybe giving uThermal or Nerchio a little bit less time than he would have expected, since he is relying purely on the queens and the lings for this defense. Despite the bailing nest being up, he has no banelings.
I think he wanted to push creep back in the back of that base, but then he realized there wasn't a single active creep coming yet, so he decided to go for the low ground instead. He's going to trade with these links. It's actually a good fight for uThermal, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Yes, as Nerchio is going to be forced to disengage without any queen support, just Zerglings against Marines with Stim. Even though they didn't have combat shield yet and they didn't have any upgrades yet, Marines with Stim against just exposed links is pretty much always a good fight, especially if they're tucked into a corner.
Okay, some of the creep spread getting denied here, and Overlord also goes down, temporarily supply blocking Nerchio. But Nerchio almost gets that medevac with all of the Marines inside of it. uThermal gets out of there alive, and oh my god, Roddy, he's going for the trap.
Terrible mistake. This game is over.
We'll see how things pan out.
It's nice for the Terran views out there. We're going to get a TVT between Clem and uThermal.
Calling it already. We do have 1-1 getting close to finishing up here for uThermal. I want to note that there was only one Evo chamber down for Nerchio. It's similar to what he was doing before, just getting the +1 Carapace upgrade. Then he adds on the second Evo chamber and gets up +1 melee alongside +2 Carapace.
Do you know that you can, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but one of the things that you can do as a Zerg player, even if you don't have any range unit, is you can have Banelings here, and then you can manually explode your Banelings, and they will splash over the SCVs that are mining.
There you go.
Do you know that, Ravi?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
That's
checking.
pretty sick. No, it was actually a lot of fun. Right before I flew out for Challenger, Snoot and I were doing a bunch of testing on this map. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do on this map. I don't want to spoil too much of Snoot's plans, but keep an eye out for that.
All right, well, uThermal has thrown up 3 more barracks. He is once again going to produce an insane amount of Marines, as we can see triple reactor being added on. Of course, that gold base is going to give him extra mineral income, so he can really start going crazy with his Marines as well. Nerchio is standing here, he's going to defend his fort base with all these queens and a couple of speed banes as his 1-1 upgrades are about to finish up.
Okay.
I still think uThermal made a mistake. Can't take the gold. No.
Well, so
it might
far
work out for him.
It hasn't been scouted. Oh, no, sorry. It was scouted, yeah.
It's always scouted. That's the point.
Well, those Marines over at the Zolnega Watchtower are going to get taken out, and that does shut down a lot of uThermal's ability to see a big attack coming over at that gold base. But for now, since it's just Lings and Banelings, uThermal's going to have a bit of an easier time finding things. Medevac does go down, only 3 Marines inside, but still stings to lose that Medevac. But the entire army's on the left, and uThermal's on the right.
Yep, so yes, there is going to be some damage done to this gold, but maybe this gold is going to be the distraction. This is actually not a good trade for uThermal, excuse me, for Nerchio if he loses his base, but he did leave his Banelings behind, and that is obviously very smart. This is kind of cute play by uThermal. He's going to try to trade out these Marines one by one. But in the end, if Nerchio keeps his base alive, which obviously he's doing, now we've got the Queens working on this gold base. That is never a good idea, Ravi.
Oh, and the unfortunate thing here is also uThermal is so focused on the micro with those medevacs and those Marines that he ends up losing 7 workers in the process. 1 queen barely keeping alive. The siege tank there is going to try and help cover the bases here, but oh god, the siege tank on the right hand side, it was left over from that original attack. It gets picked off, and uThermal, it just seems like he's losing a lot of that momentum off of that attack.
There is an important mention here, and that is that Nerchio's worker count has not been as high. You remember the previous game when he just skyrocketed up to 70 drones? He's been at 58 for a long time. He has produced all the units that he's currently out on the map with of 58 drones. He's going to go for it once again. The Queens are going to try to attack the tanks from the other side. Banelings are looking at it and be like, guys, can we help? It's like, nope. But Queens are really good. Now, this is a funny battle. It's a bunch of Queens transfusing each other while the tank is being repaired by SCVs.
Oh man, at the same time uThermal is trying to go for this drop on the right-hand side of the map again, but it's been denied by just 2 Hydras, not allowing them to unload. Finally, they find a chance to unload, but the medevacs are getting focus fire down. Down goes one of the medevacs. The Marines are also, they're getting some good trades versus the Lings, but there goes down the second medevac, that's it.
Yeah, but that was still not a bad fight for uThermal. Once again, what it's important to mention is the Queens are going forward and once again looking for a little bit of damage here on these SCVs, on these Marines as well. This is just ridiculous to watch this, by the way. Ravi, take it away.
Okay, the siege tank is killing off some of these Queens, but the transfuse energy is starting to run a little bit low. So Nerchio,
yeah, it's about time, Ravi.
The Lings are going to find an opportunity. The supply depot is down, but he realizes there's a few too many units in position. He is going to have to back up there. uThermal really wants that 4th base. He's going to be able to find a couple of Banelings as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Nerchio is that he was very low in economy for the longest time. Now Hydras are going to try to work on
He gets on the tanks.
Finally, he gets one, but I think things is actually working out really well for uThermal. What if the gold base is not a trap? What if it's a bait?
Well, he's taking some better and better trades here, but now Nerchio's going to swing in, snipes off one of the siege tanks, snipes off a handful of these Marines and these medevacs, but with those siege tanks still positioned in a really nice spot, those mineral patches are actually creating the perfect buffer for some of the tanks to get free shots off on all of these units.
Yeah, Nerchio is on 71 workers, but he's falling behind in upgrades rapidly. Finally, his +2 Carapace is finished up, as once again he's getting a few more SCVs. But the big problem is 3-3 is on the way, +2 vehicle weapons is on the way, and uThermal is getting a fort base. I wouldn't say it was uncontested, but he's obviously not losing it at this point either.
Yeah, he's been able to still continue mining from it at least a little bit. And here we go. Banelings come rolling on forward. It looks like this should be a cleanup on the right-hand side here for Nerchio, but uThermal comes forward with some more reinforcements, is at least going to push Nerchio back.
He just killed 17 SCVs.
Oh, wow. During the midst of that attack, yeah. Finding quite a bit of damage there. uThermal is so insistent on trying to mine from those minerals.
I was focused more on the battle on the right side. I saw the SCVs being pulled back. I saw Hydras was shooting at it. I don't know if it's a tank-friendly fire that did it or if there was a bailing explosion.
I know it's not tank-friendly fire because the friendly fire SCVs that get killed don't show up on the left-hand side.
Okay, well,
little thing.
Either it was just Hydras going absolute rampage.
Must have, yeah.
I have the feeling that a Baneling sneaked into the left side and all the SCVs must have been stacked up. But 17 is obviously a very reasonable amount of workers. But uThermal still has plenty of workers to work with.
Okay, Medevac on the right-hand side, gonna be able to try and circumvent the Lings over the Zalaga Watchtower, try and find some damage of his own. Doesn't seem like Nerchio's noticed it so far.
I love this never-ending fighting battle over the gold.
Well, the gold base certainly brings entertainment if it doesn't bring success, Roddy.
That is true, that is true. Can't complain about a boring game over here on the red shift, that's for sure.
Okay.
As this base is gonna get cancelled by this drop on the right top side. As Nerchio was looking for a potential maybe 5th base cancel.
Oh, yeah. Nerchio brings all of his Lings, the entire map's worth of Lings to help deal with this medevac drop, so that does give uThermal quite a bit of space.
Upgrades!
Oh my god.
Upgrades!
Upgrades in positioning, Roddy.
Yes. Upgrades and tucked into a corner. That's not a fight that Lings want to take.
Oh.
Now, there are Ultras soon. Maybe. Ultralisk Cavern has just been thrown down.
It's still a while away, right, though? Because
Yeah.
especially with the upgrades being so far behind.
So uThermal double scans and he will spot that the spawning pool is wiggling, so he should know that Adreno Glands is being researched because obviously circling speed has been out for a very long time. And this is kind of his moment. He's like, alright, so this is that moment where you probably don't want to fight, right? Because you're waiting for stronger units. Well, let's actually move forward and let's actually fight. There's no way that Nerchio can keep this base alive. I don't see that.
Okay, a couple overlords going down, but he has plenty of supply to work with. Ultralisk Cavern going to be finishing up soon, and Nerchio's response seems to be, well, I'm just going to keep putting pressure on that gold base, because this is something you really don't want to have to lose right now, right? But uThermal, Siege Tanks actually buffer for a lot of those Banelings, and the Marines survive, getting on top of the Hydras.
That was not all that bad, but there are more Banelings, so now maybe the next fight is a lot more promising. I feel like uThermal has been wasting a lot of time here on the right top side, because there is almost nothing. Nerchio is very focused on this attack, and the Baneling count is very high. The tank count not that high anymore. This actually looks pretty good for Nerchio if he can get some good connections. The Planetary.
Oh, the Planetary getting repaired, but it goes down to the Banelings. At the same time, uThermal is getting some damage on the other side of the map, taking out a very important mining base here for Nerchio. At the same time, Nerchio has, a snipe off on the orbital. Wow, both of these players just trading bases. A lot of Banelings about to finish up, though, and that is a scary proposition.
Oh, the blinding cloud! So that was so sick.
Oh.
That would have been beautiful. Oh, that would have been the play of the year. If he would have just like let those Banes finish up in the final moment. Once again, uThermal is dropping these Marines one by one, but that looks very cool, but it seems very expensive. I'm really enjoying this one parasitic bomb there, doing a lot of damage on those medevacts. Did Nerchio get the better hand of that madness? I really think he did. He got the Planetary, he got the Orbital, he got an insane amount of SCVs once again. And of course, losing that base on the right top side is painful, but I think that was good for Nerchio.
I think because there's that, the medevacs, that losing those are also painful, but because Nerchio has a base just below his main that is a fresh mining base, if uThermal had sniped off all of the fresh mining bases of Nerchio, then I think, maybe Nerchio is going to be feeling a bit of the pain from that. But because he still has that mining base, well, if uThermal can snipe that off cost efficiently, maybe.
Blinding Cloud being used on the tanks and the Marines. The Marines are taking a pretty decent fight against the Hydras at first, but I think there are simply a few too many Hydras. Now this push gets cleaned up as well, and I think this may very well do it for Nerchio.
Oh, Widowmine gets all the remaining Banelings, all but one, and Nerchio does push back uThermal.
There's nothing left, Ravi. There's almost nothing left for uThermal. That was the kitchen sink build. He threw everything.
He's got another orbital that he's moving over to that right-hand side base, and Nerchio's reestablishing the top right-hand base. So both of these players are kind of getting stuff going back up and trying to get their economies back intact.
This was a really fun game, a really entertaining game where I think both players made a lot of good calls. But I think uThermal, he was wasting a lot of time with this big medevac squad of Marines, right?
Yeah.
And Nerchio was throwing everything he had at this position of uThermal on the left bottom side, and he didn't just get the planetary, but he got the orbital as well. Now there is a next orbital that has landed that's going to try to give uThermal some mining of this 5th base. Obviously, every second that goes by is then going to be a very good one for uThermal. I feel like Nerchio shouldn't give him this time.
I think that the one thing that I really still like about uThermal's position is even with Ultras coming out, it's 3-3 versus 2-2. The Ultras are still going to be okay, but there are a couple of Marauders being built now, so it seems like uThermal's finally reacting to those Ultras. And with Siege Tanks in the right position, he can still take a good trade, but I like this position better for Nerchio still.
Yeah, I hated it for uThermal a while ago, and now suddenly it's like, okay, it's clear that Nerchio is also stepping down a little bit, right? He went back to droning, he went back to re-establishing the bases, and he focuses on the 3-3 upgrades now. But that obviously means that uThermal is going to have some time to rebuild an army and rebuild the economy, because
oh my, oh, there's the second pull. Not gonna let that one get out. Get over here.
So obviously Nerchio's still in a good position because now he's getting his 3-3 upgrades as well, and he did a fine job in retaking these bases very quickly. But at least uThermal's got an economy again, and that 22 army supply has turned into 62 army supply. Could have even been a little more if he didn't just donate units on the right top side. And by the way, Ravi, I'd like to point out that he didn't mine out the gold, but he did stop mining from the gold. So I think it's a trap.
That SCV is actually going to start mining out that gold.
Yeah,
there's only 32 minerals left.
That actually will make it... don't do that. This little guy.
Oh.
This could very well be the betrayer of the Terran
There's just
race.
2 SCVs that are going to open up another attack path for Lings.
If he starts mining of this one or this one, it's obviously not a big deal. But if that SCV keeps going, oh my god.
Oh, uThermal. Well, hopefully he realizes it, or hopefully he's okay with it, but I can't imagine a situation where a Terran player wants that.
That's not good. I mean, he has nothing here. That would be terrible. If then 20 Lings show up in his main with adrenal glands, that SCV could very well be the betrayal of uThermal in this game.
I think the other big thing, though, right now is that Nerchio is about to finish up 3-3. He's finally going to catch up on those upgrades. Since there's no 4-4 for uThermal to maintain that lead, he is now going to be going into those Ghosts, those Liberators, adding on more Ghost Academies for the eventual nukes. He does have his economy kind of going up again, but he still is going to be trying to remax, whereas Nerchio is almost ready to go at this point.
I think Nerchio might do uThermal a favor. He's going to kill the SCV.
No, he's going to leave it alive unintentionally. But here we go. The Ultras moving on forward. Individual pulls on Ghosts with the Vipers. And Nerchio is just not going to be stopped. The Banelings have all been used up, but the Ultras are going to be able to tank. And I just don't see any Ghosts on the map anymore, Roddy.
No, they all got abducted. I mean, this army of Nerchio was just massive. Now, there is a little bit of harass going on.
Liberator on the right side.
Yeah. Liberator on the right, Liberator on the left. So that is nice. That's going to force Nerchio to back off for now, but losing that planetary is painful. And this mineral patch is about to be mined out. And I really think it's going to be bad. I mean, obviously it's already bad, don't get me wrong. uThermal is losing this game. But that's going to make it even worse, Ravi.
Oh, 4 minerals left over.
What are you doing?
This SCV.
I really hope that Nerchio capitalizes on it immediately. Bloop.
And suddenly the pathway, the gateway for Ling counterattacks is open. But of course, Nerchio is going to have to wait and see if he even realizes what's going on over there.
He's got vision of it.
He does have vision.
But I think he's too focused on his army because he's got a beastly 200 supply Zerg army. Like you said, the ghost count is simply not that high for uThermal. What a performance from Nerchio. What a
Is there
sick
high
game.
ground vision over here? Okay, the Vipers are going to move forward, but the Ghosts might actually be able to get some snipes off on those Ultras that are just going over to the right-hand side for the Planetary Fortress. No, he's going to abandon ship. He knows he cannot defend that.
Oh, Banelings in the Ghost. Banelings connect with all the Ghosts, and that's going to be a GG. Nerchio takes a 2-0 victory over uThermal. That means that our Polish Zerg player will advance to the quarterfinals. That was a fun game. That was one of the better games you've seen in the last 2 days, Ravi.
I mean, I kind of want to go back to what you keep saying.